Hi science teachers, welcome to Science Teacher Summer School Episode 8. I'm Kent Louie, and something you may not know about me is that I'm a huge coffee geek. I've got a scale with a timer, a hand grinder, special beans, and various types of coffee brewers at home to make the perfect cup. Now, let's get to work. An age-old question in science education is how to get and keep students interested in science. It's actually something that is included in our curriculum too. One of the BC Science Learning objectives in the curriculum says that students need to maintain a sustained interest in the question they have. But with platforms like TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, it's a little bit more difficult to keep students' attention in science because it's always being pulled away so easily by so many flashy things. So, how might we do it? How might we get students interested and stay interested in science? To make science interesting, I think it's important that science teachers geek out on something and that we bring what we geek out on into class and we show students how to geek out. Geeking out really just means having a sustained and perhaps passionate interest in something. If you think about it, we're actually a society that values geeks. The Olympics, for example, is just a showcase of individuals who geeked out on a singular athletic pursuit. When we're sick, we don't want a generalist doctor working on us. We want to seek that doctor who's the top geek in that field. And when we read restaurant reviews on Yelp, we trust the food geek who has thousands of reviews under their belt as opposed to one that only has a handful. When we geek out and bring it into our classrooms, we make our lessons more engaging and more applied. And we show students how to make scientific connections to everyday events. And we also show them how to take a scientific approach to everyday problems. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, I'm a huge coffee geek. But how do I bring this into the classroom? Well, one thing I do is I have students perform a coffee pour-over as part of their lab safety lesson. I show them a picture of what a coffee pour-over setup may look like in the coffee shop. Then I ask students how to reproduce the same thing here using lab equipment. And they may get something that looks like this. Now, in this lab, students learn lab equipment. They learn safety rules like how to heat and pour water safely, and how to filter a solution using a funnel and filter paper. You know, it's a simple lab, but so much science is learned from the brewing of coffee. I also use this vacuum siphon system, which is a super geeky way of brewing coffee, to demonstrate thermal expansion and contraction and how that can be applied to brewing a perfect cup of coffee. I relate how I alter water temperature, grind size, the amount of bean I use to brewing a great cup of coffee to the chemistry unit regarding factors affecting reaction rate. And as for how decaffeinated coffee beans are produced, did you know it's just a simple application of saturated solutions and filtration? You know, when you geek out on stuff, there's a lot of cool science that can be uncovered. And because you're excited about it, your kids will be excited, or at least be impressed by your geekdom. If parents who are doctors have kids who become doctors, and parents who are teachers have kids who become teachers, then parents or teachers who geek out on stuff will have kids and students who geek out on stuff. And that's what we want in our science classroom, a kids full of geeks who are super interested in science and taking that science and applying it to everyday life. That's all the time we have for this episode. Please leave your questions in the comments section below. And join me next time when I'll be talking about standards or skills-based assessment and how this can be used for even the most mundane or content-driven parts of a science class, like lab safety, for example. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and remember to science everywhere, every day.